When you are shifting realities, you are going to go back and forth between your old self and your new self. And this is completely normal. You've spent all these years of your life with things piling up in your subconscious and your unconscious body. And it's going to come up from time to time. Even when you're healing, even when you're shifting, there are things that are going to build up in your body. For me, it feels like pressure, and then I have to release it with emotions, crying, and thinking and processing things that I couldn't whenever they were stored. And this takes some of the pressure off. This helps move you into the path of your new reality. I am no contact with my parents because they're very toxic and not safe to my nervous system. So I just had to go through a whole, and I call it purifying, because it is really a release of that memory of toxins and chemicals in your body. And so I have to let myself feel the emotions and all the pain and the grief, and it's very painful. But the wound is where the light comes in. So I will realize that something's coming up for me because I can feel pressure in my body. And then I'll ask myself, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to feel? And then it'll come up. And I will spend hours crying it out and thinking about what memories are coming up in my body and focusing on the area of my body where the pain is. And it's a pressure release. It's a filtration. It's a movement of your fascia and the feelings that are stuck in there. Because it's hard to continue on the path that you want to continue on and move into that reality that you're working towards if you feel bad, if you feel heavy, if those emotions are stuck in your fascia. So it's not always linear, and that's okay. You are going to have times where you're angry. You're going to have times where you're sad. You're going to have times where you're positive. And you have to feel those emotions, and you have to go through them. And then you have to choose what you want to feel and what you want to think after that. Because your reality is created from your internal state. And over time, if you focus on changing your negative thoughts to positive ones, you can interrupt that feedback loop that shifts your frequency, which changes your reality. So for me, there'll be times where I'm so busy and I don't even register the background negative self-talk, but it adds up. And then I can start feeling like the negative emotions that come towards myself. And I've done enough work that I can choose now to go back into the more positive state. I can choose to go back into feeling good and thinking positive thoughts, because it's a muscle. It's a neural pathway that you're connecting. And so you're shifting to tune into a higher frequency, which creates positive hormones, which feel good in the body, which expand your torus field into a more positive frequency state. And that creates more of the reality that you want to experience. So it's not always perfect. It's not linear by any means. And you have to love yourself anyway, even on the bad days, even when people make you angry, even if you get angry. And none of your emotions are bad, not a single one of them. Anger is something that's there to protect you, and it is an emotion that is human and that you're supposed to feel and experience. It's a boundary. So if you are experiencing these things and you feel like, oh, I'm not being positive enough to move, I'm not being spiritual enough to move, it's okay. Feel those emotions and love yourself anyway. You're not doing it wrong. You're being human. The thing is you choose to go back into positive thoughts after you feel it, after you process it and figure why you're feeling that way. Thoughts and feelings and emotions have a reason for being there. They're not and I see this all the time, thoughts are just they're a frequency that you're tuning into, but they are coming from you. And they're coming from a place that needs to be held. They're coming from a place that needs to be seen. And in my experience, once you do this, you start to feel so much better. You start to feel seen. You finish the thoughts to completion and you can move on and feel more empowered and feel stronger. So, all that to say, be good to yourself. Let things come up when they need to come up. Figure out where the thoughts are coming from and why. And then take care of yourself. When your body doesn't feel good, when you're not getting enough sleep, when you're not getting the right nutrition, it makes things harder for you to stay in control and to monitor what you're thinking and then shift it. So be good to yourself. Even on the bad days, still be good to yourself. Your life, your reality will change when you do, because it's a reflection of you. You cannot expect your external reality to change if you haven't changed. And a lot of people out there want to sell you something that's just a one-off, but that's not how it works. It's not going to work for very long if it does, because you have to change everything. There are so many people out there who have changed their entire lives because they've moved to a different country. They've changed their name. They've changed everything about their identity because it shifts the brain into a new reality. If you don't want to do that, you still have to work with what you have, and you still have to love who you are and everything that's happened to you, no matter what. And then you can change. You will change, and your reality will follow. Hope this helps.